You know, I love movies, and I think a lot of other people can feel the same about movies. Really enjoy them. The reason why I like movies or really enjoy watching movies is because they make me feel something. I get feelings from them. You know, we all know this. The movies transport us to another realm, another dimension, a story. And with the combination of moving imagery and sound, we're convinced that we're in this new and different world, that we're experiencing things that the protagonist is experiencing, or the antagonist, or whatever the story may be. But what I like about the movies is that feeling, that the ability that they have to cause an emotion. And I think predominantly the reason why movies are able to do that is with the sound. I think the sound is what is maybe the most important. Of course, the story plays a part in everything, but if we stripped away what it is to watch a movie, like the pictures, the video, the film that's moving, if we strip that away, right? And we just had the sound. And if you think about the history of the movies and how many of them have made soundtracks or specific songs become really famous or big in the charts because it was a good movie. The song was placed perfectly within that movie, and it was able to communicate emotion, communicate something to the individuals watching the movie. And so the music, the sound, usually music really, becomes really popular. We all listen to music. We all have our favorite music that we listen to. What's your favorite music? I'm kind of all over the place. But as soon as we place music into a movie and we empathize with a protagonist, it's kind of like a soundtrack to their life. I mean, how many montages have we watched and got pumped up about, or got some kind of a emotional excitement for? And then I think, today when we could get on applications such as Spotify or Deezer or Apple or Google or YouTube or what have you, and we can pull up almost every song ever made that was recorded and listen to it at any point in time. Why don't we make the soundtrack for our own lives? I mean, how many of you are sitting in your car or have sat in your car listening to the best, music ever or something that you really enjoy? And then all of a sudden you find that you're probably driving maybe a little bit too fast. Maybe it's a hard pumping song that kind of gets you moving and motivated. Or maybe you're sitting down and then all of a sudden you just want to get up and dance because the song is really motivating you to move. A lot of times I wish that with my artwork or with any artwork, we could capture that emotion so quickly and so viscerally as music does. that would be absolutely amazing. But what we can do, what I do, and what you can do, is we can curate our lives, our music, to have a soundtrack. We could have our own heroic soundtrack to whatever we're doing. Or maybe it's not heroic. Maybe it's sad. Maybe it's melancholy. Maybe it's happy. Maybe it's hard and grungy, or gangster rap, or angry. Or maybe it's soft. Maybe it's classical. Maybe it transports you to a different time and place. Maybe the music you listen to brings up a certain memory. But when you're listening to the music, certain actions happen within your brain or in your body. And it's either motivating or demotivating, sad or happy or whatever. And so what I like to do is I take that music and I match it with whatever I'm painting at the time. I mean, I don't just do this with painting. I do this with all of my life. What's the perfect song or playlist that I can create so that it has the best beat for walking, right? Has the best beats per minute. So it really fuels my walking workout or running workout or something like that. You know, we don't have to do it just for workouts. We can do it for every part of our life. We listen to certain music while we work to focus. And if I want to capture a certain emotion in a painting, I can curate music to help with that. Adam Duff from Lucid Pixel, he had talked about this a couple times. It's really more about his practice, but after he had talked about it on one of his videos, I thought, wow, you know, that's really insightful because I do the same thing. And the more that I looked into my own practices, the more I began to understand how important music is to the paintings that I create. If I have on the right music that has the right tone, the right beat, I can transport myself into the painting that I'm making. And then hopefully, some of that emotion, whatever it is that I'm feeling, will be imparted onto the canvas. We can't help separate, or we can't separate ourselves from what flows from our brain through our arm into the brush, onto the canvas. Inevitably, if our mood is melancholy, if we're sad, that will come out in the painting. You may not even notice it, but it'll be there. The easiest to see is when you're really energetic, when you have a lot of energy. You'll see that within your work because it turns into really broad brushstrokes, fast brushstrokes. Maybe the strokes go across the whole canvas. Maybe it's a palette knife full of paint and you scrape it all across the canvas all at once. Or, you know, other extreme emotions like anger. You're really angry at something, so you just pull up a big chunk of paint and just slap it down without any care. You just take a whack at it, like one of my best friends says. Just whack at it and see what happens. So it's important, I think, to recognize what music you like. to recognize a bit more of yourself. And you think, well, how can I include that within my painting sessions? Within every time that I paint, what painting am I working on? What am I trying to say, if anything? And how can I curate some music to help with that, to keep me in the mode, to keep me maybe even motivated? Maybe you're having trouble painting every day, but there's several songs out there that would help you get motivated. We'll put on those songs, start playing them, and keep them playing, even if it's one song on repeat. Curate your own heroic soundtrack for your life and everything you do. I think it'll help you stay motivated, especially with your artwork. I'm not special. I think if I can do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. I do like the services out there now where you can just, pay a monthly sum and be able to listen to any album or song on the planet at any point in time. I know there's a lot of individuals that when they paint or when they work, it has to be silent. Silence is important. And that's good too. Understand that about yourself. So ask yourself the question, what do I like? And if you don't know, start experimenting. If you don't know what would be motivating to you, what would keep you in the mood to painting or, get you to the easel on time, try different things. Put on your headphones, block out the rest of the world, and zone in to something that you love to do. Be attentive with your reaction to what you're listening to while you're painting. Just as you would be attentive or understand that you can't really get great work done if you're constantly distracted all the time with other noises around. Or maybe you can. Maybe a very noisy environment is good for you. But having that understanding. I mean, you wouldn't go to, or well, at least most people probably wouldn't go to a construction site where there's a jackhammer working and start a painting. For some of you, that may work. That may be like your motivating place, super noisy, something that shakes the ground. I could see someone starting a very abstract, expressionistic type painting in the middle of a heavy metal concert, right? Something that has tons of energy to it. Something that has, music that has so much energy that the idea of a mosh pit was created where people just basically go crazy. Whether you like it or not, there's a lot of energy produced by music. You can curate that energy yourself, right? Depending on what you listen to and where you listen and what you're doing while you're listening to it. If you want to feel sad, listen to sad music. If you want to feel happy, listen to happier music. There's certain songs that I can't listen to at certain times, and I know this. I'll put my favorites on repeat, and some of these certain, like maybe a super sad song comes up, because I do like sad songs, quiet songs. But maybe I'm painting an energetic painting and a very sad song comes up and I'm like, well, no, that's not going to work. I change it right away, and I go for something else. Try this. If you don't believe me, you're like, that's rubbish. know what you're talking about, Chris. If you don't believe me, try and go to a workout, if you do it, or some kind of energetic activity where you need to be moving, and listen to the slowest, saddest music you can find. Probably won't be as motivated to do that hard workout if that's playing in the background. Or maybe you would. I don't know. I'm not going to commit to any specific here because everybody is so different. And that's the most wonderful thing about, humanity is the differences within us all. And understanding what moves you and in what way is really important. Because I'm not just talking about a particular painting and this music, which I am, but it's more than that. As you look into the music that you like, as you look into other aspects of your life, you begin to understand who you are. And, one thing that I went through as an adolescent, teenager into adulthood, you begin figuring out what you like, what you dislike. And a lot of times it's really easily done with music. It's a very personal thing. I mean, right away, I'll tell you, I don't like country music that much. There's certain, I listen to just about everything, but the country music, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. Does it for a lot of people, and that's wonderful. Not saying country music is bad, because it's very subjective. That's like me calling your painting bad. It's so subjective, it's meaningless. So I probably wouldn't listen to, country music in any of these instances. It's not going to motivate me, but just understanding what I don't like gives me a better understanding of myself. And with, all the videos and books and articles and everything for artists out there that focus specifically on style. What is your style? How to build style. Which is such BS. You don't build style. You never build style. What you actually build is a personality. You build your personality by figuring out who you are. One song, painting, brush type, material type, medium type at a time. So figuring this out about yourself as far as what music you like, what motivates you to do certain work. Think about the work that you're doing right now. Does it have a theme to it? If you don't listen to music while you're painting for that theme, maybe try listening to music that you like that would match it. Maybe you'll discover something a little bit more nuanced about yourself. And within that, you'll get closer to who you really are, which is very difficult to find a lot of times. I feel like even at 48 years old, I'm still asking myself, who am I? So, whatever age you are, 28, 48, or 68, doesn't matter. 78, doesn't matter. I think throughout all of our lives, we'll be finding out who we are a little bit every day. And all it takes is just asking a question. Do I like this? Do I dislike this? What do I prefer? What are my subjective ideas? Really informs you on how you are. Just try and start with music. Music is visceral. Ugh, I wish I could get a lot of the emotion that I hear, that I just instantly gather from listening to music into my artwork. That would just be amazing. There's several artists in history that have tried to do that. Can't remember their names right off the top of my head, but I wish it was easier, but it's not. If it was easy, it would be ubiquitous and everybody would do it, and then it would be meaningless. Kind of like AI art. It's becoming so ubiquitous that everybody can do it and eventually be meaningless. But that's for another discussion. Anyway, thanks for listening to my voice. Now go listen to some music. Curate that soundtrack to your life. Put it to your next painting. Figure out what you love, what you don't love. Figure out what motivates you the most. And then use it to make your life, your paintings, and everything you do better.